are not alone. I want to assure you that among all of the billions of people on this earth, you are not alone facing the struggles to achieve an more excellent, more abundant, more satisfying life. And really, that's why I'm sure that you are here with us on this particular episode of Abundant Living, powered by Farm Stew. You've come to the right place because this is the program where we are learning and exploring God's very practical principles that are designed to help you and all of humanity to live a richer, more satisfying life. I am here with some very special guests. My name is Pastor Emmanuel Pilote, and we are going to explore something very significant today that is going to help people to live better and maybe even to earn a little bit more in their lives through more productivity in farming. So before you get to hear all the secrets that we have for you today, I want to share with you my audience here in the studio. And first we have Joy Kaufman. Joy is the founder of Farm Stew International, and she is also a nutritionist. She's a professional public health leader. She's a mom, and she's very interesting. So thank you, Joy, for being here with us today.
Yeah, praise God. It's wonderful to be here with you and with our guests and with all those in the listening audience.
Fantastic. And also we have with us all the way from Zambia, we have Holly Mukale. And I'm so glad that you're here with us. This is your science was a medical lab science.
Yes.
So as a scientist, but right now he is working as a coordinator for Farm Stew in Zambia. Welcome, Holly.
Thank you for having me.
And it's also really great to be here with you, Joseph. This is Joseph Vuga, and he is working with Farm Stew Uganda. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here with us as well.
Yeah, thank you for having me in the program.
All right. Now, I know you're going to be very excited about this particular program because you're a trained agronomist, and we're going to be talking a lot about agriculture and how to grow things. And right off the bat, I know we talked about this in an earlier program, but I think it bears repeating. Farming is often seen as something that the people don't really want to do. They only do it if A, they are forced to do it, they have to do it, or they have nothing else to do. But I think we discovered before that God is the inventor of farming, and actually it is the pathway to a richer, much more successful life. Is that right?
Amen.
Is that how you would say it?
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as you're telling me that, I'm thinking of a woman that we met in Uganda long ago, that she was exceptionally poor and in a very big controversy with her husband because he wasn't bringing home enough money to even feed their kids. And so when our trainers came in and they were talking about farming, and she basically said, no, it's for poor people. She herself really could have benefited. And honestly, after some of the Farm Stew training, she realized, this is actually the only job I can find right now, because she was in a rural area and, she didn't have a lot of assets, but she started growing. She started learning the planting methods that our agronomists were teaching, and she started having a profitable farm, even learning succession planting. So she always had something to bring to the market and sell, and she was a totally different person afterwards. So yeah, this message is powerful and can transform people's lives.
So and I think we even learned in one of our earlier episodes in the about attitude that even farming is just good for you, even if you're not forced to and you have to do it because you need money or food. It is just something that God has given to us since He was the first farmer. He's given it to us so that we can live more abundantly and have better even mental health along the way. All right, well, let's dig into it.
Quite literally.
All right, let's dig into it. All right. This is dad humor. I have a bunch of kids, and these are my dad jokes. So, but let's dig into farming. Now, you can't maybe tell, but my thumbs are very green.
Okay.
And or actually, they're not green. green thumb means you're really good at growing things. And if they're not green, that means you can do whatever and nothing ever grows. And I know some people might really be discouraged. Someone like me might be very discouraged about farming because you figure, man, farming's a lot of work, it's a lot of exercise, and then it might not even work out. So I think today we're going to talk about some secrets to make sure that when you put in the time and effort, you're not just working hard, we're working smart so we get results. Am I right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, so then what would you say? Where do we begin? We learned earlier how to plant seeds and how to begin,
Yeah.
but how do we make sure that when we do engage in this, where do we begin to learn how to farm smartly so we can get good results?
Well, I think the first thing, and I want to turn to Ala with this question, but really looking at what is the difference between dirt, because a lot of people, they say, I don't want to get in the dirt or get dirty, right? It's almost thinking a bad thing. And the difference between dirt and soil.
Yeah. So, before we talk about farming and how we can plan our things and so on, but also today, we have to look onto how really we can see, how really we can maintain the soil. And when you look onto the difference between that and soil, so when we talk of that, this is the blend of organic materials that are comprised of the silt, the clay, and when it gets wet, so it can easily dry because it cannot actually hold water. And when you look onto that, of course, that will come in the process of when we plant maybe one type of crops, or when we overuse the land. That is when we can that can form in our soil. So that it doesn't support life. Of course, even if you open around and so on, there's no life that it can support. But now when you look onto the soil, we said soil, this is actually the organic material that comprises of the organic matter. It has the living organism in it, and it has also water, it has the air. So all this actually, when we look onto it, it supports life. So the difference between the soil and the dirt, actually, that it doesn't support life, of course. Even if you plant your plant there, it will not germinate, or even if it is germinate, it cannot really help this plant to produce. But for the soil, there is life in the soil because it has the living organisms that are there to support the plant. So you can say that the plant will come well, and also you can have something at least to harvest.
Okay, so you need soil if you actually want to produce and grow well. So I'm a lay person. I don't really know much about farming. To me, dirt looks like dirt, or soil looks like I can't really. So by looking at it, is there a way that I can tell or test and see what I've got?
Yeah, actually, when you look, when you see that, of course, we said it doesn't support life. Even if you open around and so on, you will not see.
If I don't see bugs and
anything
worms,
that is living,
if I don't see anything in
you'll
there,
not find in it.
Then I have to say this.
And also, we said it's like the blend of this. They are just tiny, it compact together. When you pour water, of course, you'll see that it can get dry very fast because it doesn't absorb water. Okay. There is no life also in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if my plot of land is like that, is there anything I can do? Can I just say, well, no farming for me? Or is there anything I can do?
Yeah, actually, we said that actually formed in our garden in the process of overusing this field. And when we overuse it, of course, we don't give chance for this soil to recover. And we said actually, before God have given us principle, and God has blanket on the soil. And now as we keep on cultivating this soil, you may see that actually this blanket, we are removing this blanket. And we need to give time at least for the earth to put this blanket down, up. And
let's talk about the blanket for a minute, because people might be thinking, hey, wait, I put a blanket on myself at bed at night, but I've never seen a blanket on the soil. So Holly, what does he mean by blanket? Can you dig into that a little bit?
Sure. So when we're talking about blanket, we're talking about mulching, basically. So when you go into nature, you'll find leaves that are packed before you can reach where the soil is. So the blanket we're talking about is introducing dry grass into our our vegetable gardens in order to cover our soil. Because we know that our soil contains microorganisms which needs to be supported there. So this mulch assists us in actually it's making our gardening very easy in the sense that most of the farmers they have complained before of how often they have to water their gardens because every now and then when they water their garden, the water simply evaporates. So they find it that it's something which is so tedious for them to do. Now, when we use mulch, it's something which is assisting us because mulch has got multiple benefits which are there for a gardener. One of them, the least of them are, it protects the microorganisms in the soil. It provides a conducive environment. Apart from that one, we find that it prevents evaporation. In short, I can say it
keeps the water.
Yes, water retention. And then apart from that, we find that the other challenge that farmers or gardeners are facing is weeding every now and then. So when we've got our mulch there, that mulch is able to suppress the seeds of weeds which are germinating by blocking the sunlight, which is supposed to go direct. So we find we might have a number of weeds, but they'll be scarce in our gardening. So that is making a gardener's work easier. So, and then in the process, you find, because the mulch that we're using, these are organic materials, like dry grass, dry leaves, which we can use there. So over time, they decompose and they become part of the soil. Yes.
So that's actually what I was about to ask you is what is mulch? And you're saying it's dry grass or dry leaves, any kind of organic material that can be laid down to kind of cover over the plot where I want to grow, right?
Yes.
And
even the plant matter from the harvest, like if you've say harvested maize or sorghum or something, you can actually lay down those plants after you harvest, and that can be its own blanket of mulch. So the soil is always covered with a blanket. Just like when you see out in the forest, you never see bare soil except for where the humans have walked.
right, there's always something covered, yeah.
Yeah, and in the parable of the sower, which we talked about in a previous episode, we saw that, when the seed fell on that packed hard ground, it was snatched away, So if we're wanting to cultivate, we want to have the ground always covered. And just to top off on a couple of things, what Holly was saying, that layer, it also prevents the sun from directly beating down on the soil. So it keeps the temperature under the mulch cooler. And especially on this continent, that's really quite helpful. Some of the temperatures are getting very, very hot. And overall, like once the decomposition is happening, then that's also turning it into soil. It really helps the soil structure. So you're just building from that dirt that's maybe not producing for you, you're able to transform it into soil that's teeming with life.
So things that we ordinarily would think is trash, we just throw it away, extra grass, leaves, we throw it away, or other leftovers from a crop, we would normally just think about throwing it away. But you're saying God has a design for everything.
Yes.
And it can be used. And this is now protecting the new life, the new crops that are coming out. Okay. That's
in addition to that one, you find that the way the soil structure has been created by God, about 15 to 20 centimeters, it supports life. There are microorganisms in there. So when we don't have mulch, and then the land is just falling, and then there's a slope, you'll find there'll be erosion. So in a long term, you'll find a topsoil would have run off, and then we end up having a bare soil which does not support life. So we will lose microorganisms from our soil if we don't have mulch, and then we'll lose nutrition value, and then also run off water, because we need water for the plants to grow. So we might have enough lanes. Now, because of not having mulch in our garden, the water might be running off from our garden without doing the proper functioning of it.
Yeah, and we're going to do some practical demonstrations of that so people can see that. But yeah, that the actual water getting down deep where the roots of the plants need to be, that's so critical, and mulch really helps.
all right. So I'm going to come to you in just one second. I just want to take a quick moment here, because for people who are not used to farming. Maybe they're hearing about all of this for the first time. They've maybe watched a couple of episodes and they've said, okay, this sounds really interesting. This group of people, they're actually promising that if I follow these principles from God, I'm going to have a transformed life. Now, I'm just imagining there's somebody sitting there saying, I have never been interested in farming in my life, and I've never wanted to grow anything, but I'm going to give this a chance because I want God to make a difference in my life, right? So that person is sitting there saying, all right, I'm going to do this. And so what we're talking about here is how to make this effort easier. You want to trust God. You want to try this farming thing to see, does it really transform my life, my family's life, or can it make an impact on my community? Listening to this conversation about mulch is very key to actually having success when we do try, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, you were going to say something, I think, about mulch, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, when you look onto the mulch, we said God is the one who put this blanket, which is mulch. Mm-hmm. Like as he said, when you go to the forest, when you open around, you see the living things,
sure,
of course, under these leaves that normally fall. Mm-hmm. And that is actually how nature created. God make nature mm-hmm. to build this soil back again, mm-hmm. of course, to life. But because, of course, we wanted to cultivate and get something, mm-hmm. so that is why we cover it. So when you look onto this living organism, these are the living organisms or microorganisms that normally help the plant get nutrients. Mm-hmm. So some of these nutrients are there in the soil, but these living organisms are supposed to be the one mm-hmm. to convert it, to make it available for the plant.
Okay.
So once, if the mulch, they are down there, mm-hmm. so your plant will have enough food. Of course, they are there to convert these some of these ammonia to nitrate, so that the plant will be able to what? The plant will be able to get.
Okay, so all of this works together then. You can't just have one piece by itself. You need the microorganisms, you need those plants, and then this mulch, the older life protecting now the newer life coming up. Yeah. So, wow. So this is not like an evolutionary situation. This is where you got the entire environment working together for maximum results. So is mulch the same as compost?
No, and let's jump to compost.
Okay.
Because I think we really want to talk about the two of them together.
Please.
Because they're so critical. And before I do that though, I just want to say there's a group in Zimbabwe mm-hmm. that is a Christian organization. They've been around for 40 years. They're called Foundations for Farming. Okay. And Holly and I have both physically been there, but we, with their permission, use a lot of their materials. Mm-hmm. And in this group, Foundations for Farming is now being used all across the whole country of Zimbabwe and many parts of the world to teach these same methodologies. Mm-hmm. So I just want to share and give them some credit because mm-hmm. they have come up with a very special type of compost called a thermal compost. I'm going to have Holly describe it, and then we're going to go over to the garden and make it.
All right, good.
So basically when we are talking about composting, we are organizing organic materials which can be poured together, and then in return they decompose and form a good soil that we put in our garden. So it's a good alternative for basal fertilizer. So now what we require for
it's a good alternative for what?
Basal fertilizer.
Basal
fertilizer.
Fertilizer. Yes. What is that?
Like fertilizer. Okay. And it's not actually the best substitute for that in a way because it's not super high in nitrogen, but it's super high in the organic materials that'll create the health of the soil that will help grow the organic matter in the soil that will become the nitrogen. Okay. And I'm only describing that because I've just had a conversation actually with the people from Foundations for Farming on this exact topic. Okay. So it's a very exciting, like a lot of people in the villages and everything, fertilizer is expensive. Yeah. And a lot of farmers are really struggling because they don't have that. So manure and some other things we'll talk about, even chicken manure, soup, you can figure out how to make that.
Chicken manure soup. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Okay.
that's
I can't wait. We'll
get there.
Okay.
But anyway, but the compost really builds the soil. Okay.
So we need organic materials, as I've mentioned earlier on. So we need dry materials. So when we talk about dry materials, we're talking about leaves or grass, which are dried up, and then also need green materials. So this can be grass or leaves, which are green. And then we
And
need,
even your kitchen waste.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then we also need some sticks. And then in addition to that, we need manure. So it could be chicken manure or cow manure. We need this. And then overall, we need oxygen, of course, air and water. So once we've got all these materials in place, we are good to go to make our compost.
Yeah.
So for the procedures that we can take, we need,
Let's do that in the garden. You
That
want to head to the village?
that would be great.
All right, you guys ready? I might be a little bit afraid now that you mentioned chicken manure soup, but you know what? I'm gonna trust you. Let's see what this is.
Sure.
Okay, as we go, we'll talk about that. And actually, what's interesting is that the smaller the animal in general, the stronger their manure is in terms of nitrogen. So the chickens are, of course, smaller than a cow or a goat, and their nitrogen is more concentrated. And as a nutritionist, I get excited about nitrogen because that's the protein, the building block of protein, which is what we as people, and especially children here, really need. So if we get more nitrogen in the soil, our plants can have more nitrogen, we can have more protein, and we can grow strong and have an abundant life.
All right, now I don't want to forget our people while they're setting up and getting everything ready. I don't want to forget our people that are living in cities.
Absolutely.
And so they don't usually have a lot of cows they can chase. So chase around for manure. So what do we tell those folks who are trying to try some of these principles in the city?
Yeah. So the alternative that we have leguminous plants, the residues. We can use them like soybeans, even just beans, because of high levels of nitrogen in them.
Okay.
Yes.
So they can actually just use beans or something like that in place of the
Yes.
in place of the manure.
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful.
So to begin with, if you don't mind, we'll begin with showing our viewers the mulch that we've talked about before we can go to the compost pile.
So this is just a typical garden with no blanket on it, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, it's a naked garden, no blanket.
Yes.
All right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to divide it. This side we're going to put our mulch.
Okay.
The other part, which is this part, we're not going to put anything.
Okay.
And then we'll try to water, and then we'll just observe what happens.
Okay. All right.
Sure.
All right, it's an experiment. All right, we'll see. Now, what kind of, what is this right here? This is just grass?
Grass from around the house.
From the yard? Okay.
Yeah, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So we have,
we said we have different materials that we can use for mulching. Of course, this one we have the grass from just around your compound,
And how
the one that has been sellers. You can put it, and also we said we have some leaves.
okay.
This
How
leaf
thick
also,
do we want to make this mulch?
if you have, of course, when you want it to mulch, we need it to at least you will be able to dip your hand, just like.
It should cover your
deep.
finger.
Yeah, it has to be deeper when you dip your finger like this. Also, it should be, we put it to be bigger, or we put it to be a bit huge, because we want it to cover the soil. When the rain is too heavy, you may find out that if you put it lighter, of course, we said we wanted to avoid erosion, so water can just wash it and it will be carried out.
Okay, so you
but
need
but if you put it a bit thick, so it will not be easy for the water to carry it easily, and also at the same time it will, of course, it will get its purpose. The purpose is, of course, we say also we wanted to prevent those microorganisms that are around. So if we put it lighter, we may get that the sun will shine it direct. So it still doesn't living organisms have to find a way to hide, or they may even run away. They will not help our crop. Yet we need them to help our crop.
So anything that is organic, that can provide shade and protection, but we want to make sure we have enough so it doesn't wash away when it rains.
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing from what you're saying. All right, are we ready for the rain? I think I have the rain on my side. So, wait, maybe.
And sometimes people are
Do you want
scared
me to do it, or you want
of,
to?
scared of putting mulch in. They think, oh, the bugs will come and eat the mulch. But that's actually a positive thing, because the mulch, the bugs are going to help decompose it, and then that turns into organic matter in the soil. So we really don't
I
have
can't
a
reach that side, so
Thank
you
you.
better just do the.
Thank you. So we.
Okay, it's raining.
Yeah.
All right.
So the good part about this is that even the way our water is penetrating the soil does not disturb the soil structure. Yes.
Well, and the other thing is when the rain is coming down, the dirt is not splashing up. And in a normal garden with just the dirt, when it rains heavy, and it can rain very heavy here, the dirt splashes up on
Okay,
the
so
bottom
here
of the
it is
leaves.
without the mulch. Okay, it's
So the other one that we're going to do,
So
we're
you're
going to do, not today, but the other session, we're going to show the run of water where we need to have a slopy field.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so when the dirt splashes up on the leaves, that can actually lead to the fungal disease that contributes to the plants dying later.
Okay.
And so,
Because there's bacteria and
yeah,
stuff
the
within dirt
bacteria is in
itself.
the dirt, which you want it down by the roots, but you don't want it on the leaves
Right.
of the crops. So,
Right.
yeah, and like he was saying, this we'll demonstrate in a bit the runoff, where you could be losing topsoil
Okay.
without mulch. With mulch, you don't lose the topsoil.
So,
Yeah. And also to add on, we say this month of fall we can mulch our vegetables, and also at the same time, we have fruit trees at our homes. So there we have our fruit tree, we have our pawpaw here. So it's also good for you to mulch it because you need it. There was a time when I was planting my lemon during in December when there was no rain, no what. So when I was planting, so our neighbor, they were just laughing at me. How can you plant during dry season? So this thing will just dry up. But I surprised them. I just put mulch. I put mulch around it.
okay.
So I pour water into it.
Oops.
All right, where's the rain? All right, here it comes.
Yeah. So when I pour enough water, so I came after 2 weeks. I got still my lemon tree still remained the same. And also when I check around, I still got there's moisture. So I have enough time, even if during dry season, I already saved my what? I already saved my seedling. That will way up to the onset of the season. When it starts raining, of course, it will establish itself well. So that is also how mulch helps. And when you're mulching, of course, you see I leave space here. So we don't need it to become so close so that, of course, we have some diseases that can easily attack.
Okay.
It's good that you leave it a bit open, but make sure that you cover this one because the moisture here is enough for it to
Okay,
stay.
so this sounds important. Important to me anyway. So you got this mulch that is decomposing, and you don't want that right next to the living plant. It's there to cover, to protect the soil, not right up against the plant there.
Exactly. That's the reason why I don't know if the camera they are able to pick.
We got some breathing
Yeah,
space.
we are leaving some space here.
Yeah.
So now I don't know if it can be visible. What I wanted to show us is
All right.
the soil structure, though we didn't add much water.
The one that we mulch and pour the soil, and the one that will not mulch.
So from the onset, you find that here there's a compaction, though we cannot show right now. But when using mulch, the water penetration going into the soil is very good compared to just the vegetables which do not have mulch. In a long time, we will find that the soil will compact.
Okay.
So once the soil compact,
It's hard, and then the roots can't go in, right?
can't get the nutrition value.
Huh.
So that's the part
Rains
of it.
run off.
Yes.
So really,
Going
when
down.
you don't use mulch, it's almost like you're making bricks. You pour the water there, the sun comes down, it bakes it,
Exactly.
and it's hard.
Yes.
You're not going to get vegetables there. Okay, nice.
The water can easily evaporate out, but this one here, it can stay for some times.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a guy in Uganda, same story like he was saying, where it was entering into dry season, and everyone was just expecting that it was going to be the hungry season, But the guy had like a huge layer. He did extra mulch. And I mean, he didn't even have to water it. And it just continued to be productive. So, okay, we're going to transition to compost now.
Sure.
And so, sorry, little plants, we're going to cover you for a moment.
You can just help me there.
So we can build our compost pile up here.
So we're going from mulch to compost. So let's see, how do we do that?
Yeah, so we're gonna make a miniature version of it. In real life, the recommendation is to make a 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter pile, all the dimensions. But of course, this will be a smaller version.
Okay.
Let's get started.
All right.
So the good part about this, it's not only one man's show. So the family can get
All right.
together.
So it's a family activity now.
Yes, yes,
Everybody
yes.
gets involved.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm
So
gonna
the
do
first
a little
one, we are using the brown material.
bit. Okay.
This they've dried
So it's the
naturally.
same stuff we were using for mulch.
Yes.
Okay.
So this grass has dyed naturally and turned the color to brown.
Okay.
So we can use 40% of this, and then thereafter, what follows is the green.
So 40% of the whole pile will be the material that was dead brown when it was cut.
Okay.
And then this material right here, it is green now. It doesn't have to be green now. You can just cut it green and it can dry and it would still look brown. But the important thing is that it was cut when it was green.
When it was fresh.
Yes.
Yeah,
So while it's
exactly.
alive,
Yeah.
we put that on there.
And, and,
Yeah, so you can say we are breaking. Of course, the more smaller your material is, the more easier it can easily decompose. So it's good if we put it like this. Of course, it takes time, but if we chop it, then it will take less time compared to when it's not chopped. So that's why we have to chop it out. And we saw, of course, the first one we have 40% of the dry matter, and this one we need to have more. We
Okay.
need to have like 45%, because this one is where we wanted to go get a lot of our nitrogen from.
Okay.
So this green part actually it shows nitrogen, and also if we use plant which is rich of nitrogen, it's better than when we use the plant which is not much of nitrogen. So we can use like cassia leaves, which are really good with the
cassia
nitrogen.
leaves. Okay, they
Yeah,
are-
we can also use leguminous plants. Yeah, so they will make actual better compost compared to when we are using
Okay.
other crops. Yeah.
yeah. So the third layer, after using the brown, the greens, we can just put 5%,
Okay.
5% of the sticks.
Okay.
So the reason why we are using the sticks in our compost pile, they are going to provide the compost pile with air spaces
Okay.
to allow the oxygen to be going through. Because in addition, we're going to use manure, which contains microorganisms, but those microorganisms, they love oxygen in order for them to survive.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's different types of compost you can make. This is an aerobic type. So that means
Aerobic,
it's
okay.
going to use oxygen.
Okay.
So that's why this is important. Sometimes people make a compost in a pit, and that becomes anaerobic, meaning without oxygen. And that it works also, but this is even better. And this actually allows it to heat up so that you actually kill all the seeds that are in it, so that when you put it in your garden, you're not planting weed seeds.
Oh, okay.
So this is called a thermal compost. Okay, next we're ready for the manure.
Manure.
So like you said, urban people might not be able to get manure. But we're doing
So we'll use
10,
beans.
10%
or something else
manure.
there.
Yeah, actually for the manure, we said that the poultry, they are the best. The poultry dropping, they're the best compared to the cow dung. So because they have more nitrogen compared to the cow dung.
Okay.
So it's better use. And also alternatively, as you said, of course, what we need from this, we need nitrogen, and also we need the bacteria. That will at least help decompose this. So in case if you don't have manure, you don't have also this leguminous plant that he talked of, you can also put the soil. Because we know our soil have the
Even good
bacteria that
soil.
we need.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're really
healthy
soil.
soil.
Okay.
So we can put the soil so that also it has what? It has the bacteria here so that it also speed up the decomposition process.
All right.
So that is what also the alternative thing that we can use. So now after when
I have just a quick question just about when you're using things like manure and anything like that. Do you have to be? Are there any cautions when you're dealing with feces from animals and things like that? Is there anything you have to be careful
Hand
about?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe pregnant women. I mean, I don't know, but is there anything that people might want to worry about?
Yes. So we can avoid human manure, except it has been properly treated for about 2 years. But other than that, we can also avoid pig manure. The reason is because of the pathogen. We're going to be working around with our hands in this compost pile. So if we're going to use that, they contain a lot of pathogens. These are deadly microorganisms which can cause infections to human.
Yeah, we never recommend using pig manure or human manure in farm stew. And yeah, and so you'll see here we're layering it. We have brown, green sticks manure, and then we're going to do the same thing, brown, green sticks manure.
So
Yeah,
we can
actually,
begin
like
the same process.
we say this one here, we need like 5%. We don't need it so much because there will be, of course, if you put much of this, it will actually reduce the speed of decomposition.
Okay.
So this one we normally, as he said, we put it to just, we need oxygen that will be able to speed up also the process. It will help these living organisms that will be here. Yeah, so as we keep on also adding, of course, we already put all our layers. This is now the second layers that we keep on putting. And also we have us that when your soil is actually acidic, it's also good for you to add the ash.
Wood ash.
Yeah,
So-
wood ash. Yeah.
Okay.
So this wood ash, of course, we know it's easy to get in the villages and so on. So we can also add the wood ash if your soil is acidic. So this wood ash also you add onto this.
And often soil, you might not have a way to test
Yeah, I was
pH
gonna
or
ask.
acidity, but often soil that has been used a lot, it's not a bad idea to add a little bit of ash to
If
it.
I'm not sure, does it hurt anything to put the ash on there, or what do you think?
In a small amount, no.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to put too much,
Okay.
so just a small dusting of it.
Okay.
And then the other thing is we're always going to be adding water to this, and you might want to talk about where you put the where you would put this pile. Like, is it out in the hot sun, or where do you have it?
Yeah, water is one of the limiting factors. So our compost contain microorganisms. These, they need water in order for them to help us break down the materials. So each and every material that we are using here, there are two methods that we can use. It's either we dip them in water first and then we power them, or we can finish piling up our materials and then we thorough water our compost pile. So now, one thing which, when we're building, we don't have to build it in direct sunlight. We need at least a shady place, but not completely shade, but a shady place, so that as to avoid the direct sunlight on our compost pile.
Can I ask one question as you go on? Because we're going to get the rest of this, but I want to make sure we're not leaving our city people out.
Sure.
So if I am in an urban environment and, I don't know how my neighbors are going to feel if they see me in my apartment building a big pile in my living room. What do people do when they live in an apartment building or they live in a city? Is composting done in that kind of an environment as well?
I think it would be difficult. I don't know about here, but if people can buy compost, is that a possibility?
Yeah, actually also in apartment, this one, we say this one is a pile, but also we have the pit compost that of course we can use containers. When you have the containers, so you'll be able to, all the kitchen scraps and also all these dry grass that you have around, you can bring and keep on piling them. And in the process of piling them, of course, you keep on turning them. So with the time, you will get that it turn to what? It turn to your manure. So even if you're in the town, you will still be able to use your container in your very small apartment. Then you'll be able to also produce the what?
Okay.
Produce the manure.
Just using a container.
Yes, that's using the containers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you do want to turn it, even with this pile, you want to turn it. And maybe, do you guys want to talk about testing the temperature of this one?
Yes.
By the way, I have seen composting machines that people
Yeah, you're
buy,
right.
for the, but I didn't even understand this much about it. So now that I understand, I might have to think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
As we mentioned earlier on, our compost is called thermal compost.
Okay.
Yes. So what it means, it will get hot at after 3 days if every material is in a light place. So what we do after we pile up about 1.5 to 2 meters, when we complete our pile, we usually insert, so just assume, we usually insert a metal rod in between our compost pile.
Okay.
So we just leave it there for 3 days, and then but we can be checking daily. So what we do, every day we go, put it out, and then try to test the heat. Yes, we cannot have the exact temperature, But once you hold it, where you are unable to hold it for long, that will give us that the temperature
Wow.
is
It gets that hot.
yes,
gets
because
very
it gets hot between
And even you can hold
55?
it out here because it's metal, right? So it conducts out there.
so
yeah.
it gets hot between 55 to 68 degrees Celsius. Yes.
Very hot.
So we want to be checking our temperature because we don't want to be below 55 or more than 65. If it's more than 65, we might kill our microorganisms,
Okay.
yes, which are beneficial. And then when it's below 50, getting into 40, we don't want the fungi to be active. They will be active, but at a later stage.
So when it gets hot, that tells me it's time to turn it over?
Yes, after 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah,
So now-
actually, if, like to add on to his, if you don't have, maybe in the village you don't have metallic things, you can also start inside a stick,
Okay.
just in the middle, of course, you stick, and also you'll be able to remove and fill.
Okay.
Yeah, in case if you don't have
Okay.
but the metallic one is better because you can immediately feel the water, you can
Right.
immediately feel the heat.
Okay, and I want to make sure we get this right. When it's hot, it's actually doing its work,
Yes.
right?
That's
Yeah.
good.
And that's good. And when it cools down, that's, I think, when you want to turn it because
Yes.
you want to reactivate the organisms
I
and
see.
kind of wake them up again.
Okay.
So the heat is actually good because the heat is showing the decomposition.
Yes.
Okay, so it's the opposite of a fire. A fire, when it starts cooling down, I want to stir it.
Yeah.
And it's same as a fire, I guess, then, right? When it cools down, I need to stir it so it will
Yeah.
heat up again, right?
Exactly.
So just same as a fire.
Yeah, so when it cools down, actually, it shows there is something. Number one, maybe you have, it's too wet. So you may see that the process of decomposition, of course, slows down. And also the second thing, maybe it's too dry. So you need to add water.
Okay.
You add water and you turn. So that you get back your heat. And also this heat is really important because it also kills the seed of the weeds. You know, some of these things that you will be using, maybe they will be having some of the seeds and so on. These are weeds. So it's good that that heat is there to at least kill the seeds of the weeds. And also there are some of the bacteria that are not good. So it will also be able to kill those bacteria that cause diseases. So it's actually good when there is heat, and also you need to keep on checking. As we said, if we have the heat, so after 3 days you need to turn. Yeah, you need
All
to
right.
turn and yeah.
So let me ask a question. I want to take a step back and just get the big picture here. This compost, we are making this so that we can then go put it on our garden, sort of as to be part of our blanket
Yes.
Yeah.
that's covering the garden, right?
Yes.
And the reason we're doing that is so that we can get maximum results from our farming efforts.
Yes.
Right.
So instead of just getting, the bare minimum and hoping there's something, when we're using mulch or even better, I think, compost, we can expect that soil is going to be so rich, we're going to get the best vegetables out of that garden possible. That's
Yeah.
the deal, right?
And just like the mulch helped the water not evaporate and the temperature not get too hot, this does the same thing. Mulch, it contains 10 times the amount of water. It can hold 10 times the amount of water as regular dirt. So it's just going to hold the water there where it needs to. But there's also, it has some aeration. When it's actually done, it will crumble like a well-baked cake. And it won't have any odor, and it will just really basically hold in the water but not have too much so that you're drowning out the roots. It's just the right amount, and then it has all the microorganisms that's going to be feeding the plants. So it's really almost, it is a miracle. You can take something that's dead and have it bring life. So just like Jesus in John 10:10, it's a way of abundant life, and it's a way God uses what's dead in this world to create something positive.
Yeah, he said, unless the seed is buried, it can't come forth and bring life. And so that's what we're doing. We're covering it. And burying it.
Yeah, and also to add on that, this compost, actually, it's good, as we said, the plant that you plant, it will give you what you give it. So there was a time, actually, I don't know whether you have ever tested, there was one of the restaurants I went to, and I need salad. They gave me the onion salad and also tomato salad. So when I tasted the onion salad, it was very sweet. And when I tasted also the tomato salad, it was actually tasteless. So I thought that maybe my tongue is having something, so I gave to my friends. He also tasted. He got the same thing, and what we find out, this thing actually it's fed with the fertilizer, the chemical fertilizer. whereby because it doesn't give its really taste, because it's if you have this, you give it this, of course you'll get the really taste, very nutritious vegetables.
Now you're really talking my language now, because you're saying the food's actually going to taste better when we do things this way.
Exactly.
That's fantastic.
And in addition to that, you find all the organic materials that we are getting here. They've been grown from the soil. So whatever they're having in them, it's nutrients from the soil. So once they decompose, those nutrients will be released in the compost pile. So we end up putting it in our garden, and then our plants, which are vegetables, will be able to absorb the nutrients. So that's a good part about this.
All right. Well, and you mentioned this just smells like grass. You know, so people that are watching or listening, there's no tough, offensive smell or anything like that. This thing is just, it smells like I'm outside, like it's the outdoors.
Yeah.
So
that's
that's a good part of using plant materials and avoid fats and meat from the kitchen. Once we put them there, they will be smelly.
Yeah, we don't put meat scraps in the food scraps.
Okay.
We keep the animal food scraps out, and that's not just because we focus on plant-based diet. That's because they are not good for compost.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
just the fruits and vegetables, and then carryover of grains or leftover things like that. Even old moldy bread you can put in.
Okay.
So yeah, and then if this was outside, we would have a 4 pegs, one on each corner, that would be going up. I think you said even 2 meters.
Yes.
And so when the compost pile it's lost its heat, what you would do is you'd have another square area right next to it, and you would be turning it from the one square to the next.
From that one into the other side.
So you'd hopefully have like a pitchfork or shovel or something. You turn it over, and you're going back and forth with that. So it's definitely some work. But within 8 to 12 weeks, depending on the temperature, the pile will have shrunk to half of its height. And you're thinking, oh no, where's my compost going? But that's the decomposition process that's going to make what is remaining in the end incredibly rich and incredibly powerful. So you're taking, poor man's waste here and making it something incredibly rich.
Wow. So I really like what I'm seeing here. And for people who may have tried farming before, a lot of people may have said, okay, you know what, I'm going to give up. I'm going to try farming, but they've tried it and it didn't really work very well. They got a little bit of results, maybe a few tomatoes or something like that, but it really wasn't profitable for what they were trying to do. So somebody who's out there trying to make money to be able to pay school fees and so forth, or to be able to feed their family or to help their community, this is some of the secrets they need to have.
Absolutely.
If they want to be successful, huh?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you have tried it before and farming and it didn't work out very well, this team right here, you guys are saying, try it again.
Yeah. And I just want to say, for the farmer that's trying to make their living farming, this pile is going to be good for like a small scale home vegetable pile. But if you have a large field that you're trying to cultivate for your family, like of a row crop, you probably want to also explore the concept of green manure cover crop. And so just to touch on that very briefly, there's different crops that we can use that actually put nutrients in the soil while it's resting, while you're protecting it. And
actually, that's right. This one we normally target vegetables in the small scale.
Okay.
But in the larger scale, of course, you may have maybe 1 acre, whereby it's very hard for you to make this and put. Yeah, but we have the cover crop. We said cover crop. Actually, these are the crops that are actually planted. First, they cover up the soil, as of course during the process when the soil is bad, or after when you harvested your things, so it has to remain there. So the cover crop, actually we put them, and it helps, like we prefer leguminous plant things like cowpeas and so on that you can plant.
Okay.
So you plant now after like it comes up well, then you can cut and you cover the soil with.
Okay.
And now when it remains there, of course, it decomposes, and also it gives the result exactly what this one also gives in the field. And also the ways that you can, of course, make it The first one, or you can plant maybe trees, special acacia trees in wider lines, in the wider rows. So whereby this acacia tree, the leaf will be also falling. It will help this with the nitrogen, all that it needs.
It's natural, God-given fertilizer.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so you can also have your main plant, which can be maybe maize. You can plant, and also you can plant the cowpea, which will be also which will be there to cover the soil. So in the process, when you harvest, you can harvest your maize, you can harvest your cowpea, and this cowpea fixes nitrogen into the soil, which whereby it helps. And also you can remove this cowpea.
You guys are a wealth of information. This is like an encyclopedia of knowledge. I can't believe, our episode is almost over. And and I know we could probably go with much more. And I know some people are trying to figure out, I think I want to try this. I'm not sure I remembered everything, and I want to know all these other details that Farm Stew has in its head from what God has given them. This seems to be like a God-designed money machine.
Amen.
So it's just you take things that are on the ground, they're free, it's even people are throwing it away, they don't even want it. And you take those things, put them together, and if you put them together in your garden in the right way, it's like a money machine. You'll have more fruits, more vegetables, more things to sell. You'll have better tasting, more delicious and larger vegetables. I think I've seen some organic farmers with really big, squash and things like that, because they're doing a really great job at this. It's very exciting.
It makes me think of the verse in Romans about how all things can work together for good for those who love God and are called according to His purposes.
That's amazing.
And honestly, that's the beauty of this is that the way Farm Stew is designed, we want to make it for people who have almost no disposable income, because you can give all the recommendations you want, but if somebody's sitting watching this program and they're like, yeah, but I don't have money for that, how is that going to bless them?
What do you need?
Yeah, just some hard work and that change of attitude. So,
okay. So where do I go if I want to learn more about this? I've been convinced in previous episodes I'm going to try farming. But this one is new. I need more material so I can kind of see where it is.
All right. Well, we invite you to go to our website, farmstew.org, and you know the letters, how it's spelled. And then you'll go to explore our curriculum. And we even have some videos on there from Foundations for Farming that can also help with making those videos, making this really come to life. And they can actually see it over time. So we're good with that. And we're ready to share. We want to share with your people. So God bless.
And I remember you said that there's no fee. All of this material is free.
Absolutely.
But if I want Holly and Joseph to be able to come to my village, or come to and help show us, can Farm Stew actually come and help people to get started?
Well, here's what we were saying before. It's like a make the disciples, Gideon was talking about that in the first episode. So we may be able to send these guys, but we know we can send people who learn. We've written this curriculum in such a way that it's accessible for anybody to learn it themselves, and then they can go out into their village. So we'll send when we can. But I don't want to raise expectations we can't meet.
So it might not be Holly himself.
Yes.
I understand Holly has some children at home that
he's in
want
high
to see him
demand.
sometimes. So, okay, that's fine. Well, thank you all.
Rest assured, you can learn this curriculum and you can share it. So,
Fantastic. Well, I can't wait to sample the delicious results. And I think we're going to be talking about that in some of our future episodes. So I want to thank every one of our viewers for coming and staying with us. This has been a very interesting show about God's money machine. I think I can call it that.
Yeah.
This is God's money machine on how to make your farming and gardening efforts very successful and productive. And so we learned about the blanket and the mulch and the compost and how to do all of that. And really, the point of all of this is to help you and me to live more abundant lives, not just for ourselves, but so that we have something to invest and to give and to help other people to live well and to live successfully. That is God's design. So I want to thank everyone for joining us here on Abundant Living, powered by Farm Stew. And we want you to come back and hear about more amazing principles that come from God Himself to help you and I to live better. Until next time, we'll see you then.